Hi, Mason again. It's time to find out exactly what's going to happen in the next Syracuse game. This is No Wrong Answers. Here's Brian.
One last Portal Watch question to intrude into No Wrong Answers. I don't know the answer to that, Nature's Sweet Melody. I would imagine that if you pass this rule, it also needs to come with a corresponding one-time rule that current fifth-year players get a week or whatever, their own 15 days to get into the portal. Because it would be ridiculous to pass the rule and then not allow them in the portal. That just wouldn't make sense. That's my guess, but I don't know. With that, no Orange Nation today. How about that? Well, okay. That means we got plenty of time here for No Wrong Answers for Syracuse and Notre Dame. The Orange on the road Saturday, a nooner in South Bend against the number 1, 9-1 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The Orange coming off their solid win on Saturday against Colgate, made more spectacular by a couple of the highlights. And obviously Joey Spallina, soon to be a fifth-year Orange lacrosse player, setting the scoring record, breaking Mike Powell's all-time career record for points, now on 313. Heck, if he gets 5 years, he can blow right past 400. That'll be something. So Syracuse and Notre Dame has been a fascinating series over the years. The all-time series right now is Syracuse 12 wins and Notre Dame 11 wins. That featured Syracuse in the early years of the series, a.k.a. from 2001, their first ever meeting came in the Final Four and at Rutgers, through 2014, a.k.a. the first year that these teams shared together in the ACC. Syracuse won 9 of the first 10 meetings in the series. Then the tide started to change, and the title game of the 2014 ACC tournament, that was a fantastic game down at PPL Stadium in Chester, Pennsylvania. I love that stadium. Right on the river. There's a bridge. It's fantastic. Syracuse lost that game by 1. The next year in South Bend, they lost by 1 in overtime. And then in 2016, things started getting a little wonky in the series. 2016 in the Dome was the 100th year of Syracuse lacrosse celebration day where, like, everybody was back. And Notre Dame was like, oh, that's cute. You're doing a 100-year celebration? Here. You lose by 10. It was 17-7. Syracuse got absolutely annihilated and lost by 10. Thankfully for me, I was at the women's basketball Final Four, so I did not have to call that abomination. All right, Syracuse bounced back and won the next 2. Then after that, starting in 2019, the Orange lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive games to Notre Dame by some, like, kind of scores. A 7-goal loss, 2021 in the Dome. A 14-goal loss, 22-8, in what I believe was John Desco's final regular season game in 2021. In 2022, it was Gary Gates' first game in South Bend. They lost 22-6. It got even worse. A month later than that, in the season finale of 2022, Gary's first year, they lost 18-11 in the Dome to end the season in April. A year after that, in the Dome, they lost 20-12. Then Gary's third year back in South Bend, close finally, but still lost 14-12. Then last year, in the Dome, the Orange win by 5. The Cavanaugh's finally gone. There is a collaboration here. And then later that year, they played again ACC semifinals down in Charlotte, and Syracuse won that game by 2. So it had been a long time of doom and gloom in this series between Syracuse and South Bend, but the Orange have won 2 straight. What they have not done is won in South Bend since 2017. It's been a while, and there have been some serious butt whoopings at Arlotta Stadium for Syracuse. What we have here this year is a Syracuse team that's kind of been all over the lot, right? Looked really sharp, looked really weird, great moments. You know, who knows? They're really good, but they obviously have some kooky kind of flaws on the team. Notre Dame is a team that's 9-1 and number 1 in the country, which on the face of it sounds very good. But Notre Dame is a team that's number 1 in the country, but far from unimpeachable. Like, they just beat Duke, 7-6. They just beat North Carolina, 10-5. They just beat then number 1 Richmond, 12-8. They just lost at Virginia, 11-9. Before that, they beat Michigan, 9-4. They beat Ohio State, 9-8. They beat Maryland, 11-8. You got to go back to the Georgetown game. This is on February 22nd to see them scoring more than 12 goals in a game where they beat Georgetown. This is now more than 2 months ago, 15-9. The main reason they're averaging well into double-figure scoring this year is the 29 goals they dumped on Bellarmine back on February 17th and the 16 they put on Marquette on February 14th. Their 3 highest scoring games of the year are the first 3 games of the year, and they haven't been able to score at all since then, but they're winning. They're kind of winning like Notre Dame did pre-Kavanaugh, right? These low-scoring, grinding games. Like grinded out, low-scoring games. So I'll be very interested to see how this plays out on Saturday, because if Syracuse wins this game, they'll either be the 1 or the 2 seed in the ACC tournament, and like this will be a major RPI win. The Orange will maybe be locking themselves into a top 2, top 3 seed for the NCAA tournament with a win like this. Notre Dame's currently number 1 in the country in RPI. Are they number 2? I think they just passed North Carolina for number 1 in the country in RPI. So this would be a major, major win from the stats. If you lose the game, it's not that big of a deal. It's not a lot of negatives, but this is one if you're Syracuse, you want to go and play well. And then realistically, you might be playing them again in less than a week down in Charlotte, depending on how the ACC tournament shakes out. The ACC tournament will feature Syracuse, North Carolina, Virginia, and Notre Dame. We just don't know the order yet. That depends on the 2 games coming up this weekend. So no wrong answers. Let's start with Joey Spallina, the new scoring leader in the all-time history of Syracuse sports. Joey had 2 nice games against Notre Dame last year. Joey went 4 goals and 1 assist in the regular season win in the Dome, and then in the tournament win down in Charlotte, Joey went, Owen Hiltz had a big day, and Joey Spallina went no goals and 4 assists. So he beat Notre Dame both ways last year, and this was fascinating tactically because Syracuse, and Paul Carcaterra has talked about this a lot, like Will Light for Notre Dame is perhaps the best on-ball cover guy in the country, or a very short list. Syracuse found a way to kind of remove Spallina from the equation and do different effective stuff with him without allowing Light to take him out of the game. Sean Light, not Will Light. Light. They have a Will, like there's Will. They got Sean's and Wills and Matts. It's Sean Light. There's a lot of Irishy first names on the Fighting Irish team. Sean Light. Anyway, he's one of the best cover guys in the country. So it was a very tactically intriguing matchup between those guys last year. I will be very tactically intrigued to see how Notre Dame handles that this year, and conversely how Syracuse handles it this time. I think Spallina's been playing some really smart lacrosse recently. I think it's a mix. I think they're both like, this is going to be a game of adjustments and all over the place. I'm going to go Joey Spallina, 2 goals, 3 assists in South Bend on Saturday. Next thing, we go Michael Leo or Luke Roa. Why? It's the rules of no wrong answers. Last game was a Michael Leo game. Boy, howdy was it. He was ridiculous on Saturday against Colgate, which means just by the rules of engagement, this is a Luke Roa game, hat trick for Roa at Arlada Stadium on Saturday. Now, where else is it going to come from Syracuse on Saturday? Owen Hiltz had some big games against Notre Dame last year. Who's going to step up into that spot? I'll say Finn Thompson does on Saturday. We'll give the Finner a hat trick against the Irish. No Wrong Answer says Billy Dwan will score a goal because that's what No Wrong Answers always says by the rules against Notre Dame. How are the Irish on the old face-off this year? Notre Dame is, man, their stats are terrible. Like, where's the number? There's no number. Now I got to do math. Notre Dame's winning mid 50% on the face-off. So it'll be a pretty good scrum. John Mullen's been on a bit on the struggle bus. I'm going to say Mullen wins 52% of the faceoffs on Saturday, and it's a tight one. I think goalie-wise, you look at Thomas Ricciardelli for Notre Dame. His numbers look really good this season. 7.7 goals allowed, 60% save percentage, but also pace of play has been really slow. Obviously, for Jimmy McCool, pace of play is higher. I think McCool has kind of bounced back here in the last couple weeks. I'll give McCool the slight edge on Ricciardelli in the game. McCool will stop 58% of the shots. Ricciardelli will stop 56% of the shots. Very specific. Toss it all in the blender. Notre Dame's going to try to slow the pace. It's the only way they can win. Syracuse has become comfortable-ish enough in a slower pace to be able to do something, right? It's going to be impossible to speed Notre Dame up, but Notre Dame is lacking the blow you out of the room ability that they had with the Kavanaughs. So while they may slow the pace around, I don't think they're capable of a runaway and hide situation. So, final score, no wrong answers. Syracuse on the road Saturday, Arlada Stadium. The Orange, top 5 matchup, taking on number 1 Notre Dame. No wrong answers, 11-10. Syracuse goes on the road, upsets number 1, and heads off to Charlotte next week for the ACC tournament. We'll be back with a post-game show after the game. You're in the right spot right here. Make sure notifications on, subscriptions on, channel membership on, turn it all on. We'll be here after the game. It's a nooner in South Bend on Saturday. We'll hang out on Twitter during the game, and we'll rock post-game right here. We'll take your calls. We'll see if we can hear from Gary. We'll do the whole thing like we do after a major game in South Bend at Saturday. I may be dumb, but I have predicted Syracuse to go win in South Bend for the first time in nearly a decade.